Alright, guys. Shin going for a 15-15 build here to start the grand finals. He's up against Solar in the bottom left side. Solar going for a more standard 16 hatchery build. Now, I think Shin's going to be going for the old classic Roach and Evo Chamber wall off. Really easy to wall off on this map, Ultra Love, but not the shortest rush distance. Like, it takes a little while to get across this map, so I don't know if this is the greatest way to open up here. I don't know why my scroll speed is so slow. I guess I'm normally not scrolling like this anymore to look around the map, am I? I've lowered my sensitivity to make the scrolling smoother, because I used to just be like, you know, doing like that all the time. Three dudes going on gas. All right, so check this out. We've got 18 drones against 17. Slight lead for Solar. That's how a 15-15 works. However, notice that Shin's spawning pool is going to finish about 11 seconds faster, which means instantly goes for 2 queens. And also already has lava spawning on the natural, which can immediately turn into drones. So you can see that you start behind on income, behind on minerals with a 15-15 because you sacrifice some early drones and drone production. But then you just get that big kickstart in your production. Solar now pulling 2 workers off gas, going for ling speed, and of course it's going to be a much later, or probably non-existent ling speed here for Shin as he rallies his 3rd worker onto gas. Overlord at the front, another Overlord outside as well. And standard 3rd base here for Falcons Solar. For those who don't know, Solar just signed up for Team Falcons. They just signed him, which is awesome. One of the biggest teams that has done exceptionally well at the Esports World Cup the last couple of years. Oh, ling speed starts in the main. So Shin is going to go delayed ling speed. 15-15 into delayed ling speed builds. This is like Shin's wheelhouse. Shin basically is the one top pro gamer Zerg who plays ZvZ sometimes like an NA player. He really does. Like, if you guys are an NA ladder player, you want to use tricks and weird surprises. Like, Shin is the master of these sorts of builds, where he's going to make it look like he's going 2-base Roach, right? Solar tried to poke him with the Overlord, but the Queen pushes him back. If he pokes up with Lings, he'll just see an Evo Chamber and a Roach Horn, and then Shin will just flood out with Lings. The question is, how much does he commit to said Ling flood? He's building 2 Overlords right now, no doubt getting ready to make those Zerglings. Now, he's got 2 full mineral lines, so it's not like it's a Ling all-in, right, but he's going to delay gases probably. He could also go Carapace and commit to a Ravager Ling build. He's actually going +1 range already, but the Ling production has started. Meanwhile, Solar, no Baneling Nest for him. He's going Evo Roachhorn, which means, how the heck are you going to defend your 3rd base, man? That's the problem you can end up in here, because you're like, well, you're going a Roach build, so therefore, I'll cancel my Baneling Nest. I don't need that against the way you're playing. This is going to be an issue. 3rd hatchery is there right now. Oh, high ground. Nah, there's Overlord nearby. Shin can just move that Overlord south for an easy snipe. And he gets it. Massling Flood shows itself, guys. Solar on 44, 45 drones. Loses a drone, and he's going to have to wall off his natural. He's trying to get into Roach production here, but Shin, he made a bit of a sacrifice to get that Ling speed up. He's delayed his own 3rd base, but he's like, well, now I get to kill your 3rd base. Everything according to plan. Ling's going to try and break the Evo Chamber. I don't know if this is worth it. Yeah, I think pulling back there is the right call. The reason why you want to fall back there, guys, is throwing Lings away against the wall off is obviously not efficient, but these Lings can be annoying. The longer you keep them alive, it's hard for Solar to even take a 3rd base right now. Solar's going 2nd Evo Chamber. He's droning back up a little bit. Now, the lair is also later for Shin, so you can see Roach speed already halfway done, whereas for Shin, it has not even started. So Shin's going to play Roach versus Roach, but he's going to be playing it from behind. There's no way this is efficient, right? Oh, +1 range isn't done. So Solar figured, hey, I can fight you before your upgrade's ready, but no, doesn't really get anything, loses a few Lings. All he does is force a Ravager to morph, which is, of course, not very high value, but he has delayed the 3rd a significant amount of time. The problem for Shin is he's only on 42 workers. Overseer does get away. 1-1 upgrades, +1 finishing for Solar, +1 Carapace now on the way. Shin has Roach speed started, doesn't have enough gas to start +2. Feels to me like Shin is crazy committed to what he's doing right now. I think he's lacking. Oh, he's got a creep highway. It's just a big roach speed +1 attack. Solar's investing in double upgrades. Solar has no idea right now. Solar has no idea right now. That's a problem, guys. That is a real problem. Oh my gosh. I mean, he sees the highway. He's got to have a feeling of what's happening. Question is, I mean, he's only on 46 drones. It's not like Solar was droning that third base, but losing more overlords is rough. He comes out to try and save them, but he loses them anyway. Ravager Biles ain't doing nothing here. The Roach Ravager getting overwhelmed. The Queen transfuses. Oh, Shin. Rapid fire band-aids all over the place. Very well done. Massive transfuses on that front line of Roaches, not to mention upgrades identical. He had the numbers advantage, and now Shin, he's going to chill in front of that wall off. Oh, is he going to jam it? He's going to jam it. Oh, he's going to just go for it. Shin, absolutely zero chill. 100% decisive action in the heat of the moment. Is Solar going to be able to hold him? And Solar probably should have pulled drones a little bit earlier if he was going to try and fight this. But I think it's a bit too late there. And Shin, Ling speed into just 100% committed +1 range Roach. That whole thing might have been planned before the game even started. That looked like he had a good plan, he executed it well, and it went perfectly. All right, guys, Shin wins game 1. He's going 14 Overlord into 16 Hatchery. What? He didn't go 13 Overlord, he went 14 Overlord. I mean, I guess it looks very similar to a normal build, effectively. Maybe he's decided this is more efficient. Nobody does it that way. He loses a little bit of lava production, doesn't he? Or no. I guess like you basically you get one drone out faster than Solar, but then you're delaying the next 2 drones. I don't know if that makes any difference. It should even out. Yeah. Here we go, guys. We've got hatch gas pool for Solar. Shin has the spawning pool in a position where he could always wedge a queen there. Matt says, I played against Shin the other day and I showed him a build where you go 14 Overlord, then Extractor Trick. Interesting. To not get 3 lava stuck for 2 seconds. I mean, you can just go 13 Overlord, can't you? What's the advantage of that over 13 Overlord, I wonder? Drone comes down to the natural. Because if I accidentally go 14 Overlord, I always do an Extractor Trick and go 17 Hatch. If you go 13 Overlord, you have 3 lava for 1 to 2 seconds? Really? I don't think so. Are you sure? Because that's drone Overlord drone. I didn't think you lost any lava production there. Apparently, Matt says you lose a bit of production. Wow, really? I had no idea. That's funny. Well, he didn't do an Extractor Trick this time, though. He just did 14 Overlord. You did all the theory. Is it really worth it, though, doing the Extractor Trick to get out 2 seconds? Actually, I remember Jack Attack years ago said that 15-14, like doing the Extractor Trick was actually objectively a better opening. Basically. I don't know if that's true or not, but he was like kind of like, oh, it's slightly more efficient. Like you actually, if you do an Extractor Trick every game, but no one ever bothered doing the math. That everyone was always like, Jack Deck's a friggin' gold player. He's bad. We're not going to listen to him. And I was like, well, I'm too lazy to test it because I'm a dumbass. But anyway, let's talk about the builds. Massive Ling Flood for Solar, guys. Notice he's still on gas. He's going to be doing the 27 drone Roach Bane afterwards, potentially. He could go for a delayed Baneling Nest, but this could be it's a Roach Warren. He's doing the exact same build that I did against Shin in game 1. And then I backed out of it like a fool. Now, Solar... Yeah, and Shin's going Ling Bane. This is the same matchup of builds. Guys, this is the similar matchup of builds. Baneling Nest is a little bit quicker, though, this time for Shin. Yeah, Shin's Ling Flood is definitely later, so he's going to be stuck under the defense, trying to defend. It's a 27 drone, Roach Bane all in, guys. Solar's building Overlords. He's going to start pumping Roaches, and then he'll drop a Baneling Nest after building 8 Roaches. It's a big all in. That's what Solar's going for. Shin defending well so far, but he's going to need to build a Roach Warren of his own. This Ling needs to scout. Solar, if he can intercept that, that's huge. That's huge. The Zergling gets intercepted. Shin needs to send another one out. He's got to get information. If he can't get information, he's in trouble. If he Solar blocks that, oh, he gets past. He gets past, guys. If this Ling gets inside the base or sees the Roaches popping, That's important. Roach Warren and second gas are on the way. Shin realizes what could be happening in this game. He sees the Roach Warren. He sees not that many drones. He's got to realize what's happening. And I think with the Roach Warren second gas timing that he has, I do think he can defend this. He squeezes 2 more drones in, which you could argue is a bit greedy. Solar is like, crap, this is not going to work, is it? So Solar, who's also seen... Has he seen the Roach Warren? He didn't see the Roach Warren. Solar gets in. Solar goes back to droning right now. So Solar's just going to do this as a Roach pressure. And he's going to try and macro behind it. But look at that Shin sneaking around the left. Solar does see those Lings leave the base. Solar should be aware of this. Ling Bane, though. There's Banelings for Solar. For Shin, sorry. Solar is in trouble. Oh, my lord. Solar's in big trouble. Shin's been looking really good in this matchup. Remember, Shin's been very active the last few weeks. Solar's been inactive for a little while. I know he had like a holiday with his wife about a month or so ago. He's had like a few different, a bit of time off after the World Championship. He's been treating it as an off-season. Shin has been grinding, playing the new patch, trying things out. And looks like Shin is looking very powerful. That being said, Solar does get to 37 workers against just 35. Well, Shin will overtake him now, though. Roach count, slightly higher for Shin. Shin's going to go Evo Chamber, more drones, and a gas, while Solar starts to push him away with these Roaches, denying the scouting. Yeah, while Solar touched grass, Shin was out there studying the PTR and the build orders. I do expect him to be more familiar with the maps and just a little bit more in practice. I don't think anything's really changed in ZvZ. Spore Crawlers will kill Mutalisks a little bit faster, but not the end of the world. Actually, no, they won't. No, because they changed the bonus damage versus biological, so it stays exactly the same. Overlord goes down. Nice. Shin sees the lack of workers on the third base. That's the important thing. Massling's already on the way. Solar's going for an all-in. This is 100% committed. And you can see here, Shin is on 3 gas. He doesn't use the Evo Chamber. He says, I just have to survive. I'm up about 9 workers. I just need to make Roaches and live. And if I can do that, it'll be good. He's got Banelings. Banelings are really useful here because they can stop the Lings from surrounding you. So if he can keep those Banelings alive in the back, that's going to be crucial. A lot of players make the mistake of letting all their Banelings die at the start of the fight. Nice Ling run by on the right side. Not many Lings here. You want to keep those Banelings alive for now. But look at that. Queen goes down on the third base. Don't throw those Banes away, Solar. Good first 2 Banes. Cleans up a lot... Or Shin, sorry. Cleans up a lot of Solar Zerglings, but those last 2 Banelings weren't very effective. And this is where the Banelings would be crazy efficient. As the other Lings flood in, that's when you wish you had a few left over. It's down to 40 drones against 36. It's in Shin's favor, but not massively so. Solar going to try to back away while he looks for Ling counterattack on the right side. He got some damage, but I don't know if it's enough. Even with 6 drones and a Queen Snipe, Shin's got +1 range on the way. Shin doesn't have a lair, though. He's not droning. I think he's just building for his own counterattack. More Roaches building. So Solar builds a handful of drones, goes back to Roach production. Essentially, guys, we're watching 2 guys brandishing knives, and they're waiting for the other guy to try to stab first so they can block it and counter stab. Like, they are both at a very low income. They realize they can't really drop their guard. They can't let their guard down at all. Or they will take a knife to the kidneys. And as much as I love steak and kidney pie, I would not enjoy someone trying to slice my own kidneys up and delivering that to them on a platter. Massling Roach on both sides. +1 range is going to be a game ender. It seems crazy, but +1 range, when you're both stuck on Roach Ling, that means your Roaches are going to 2-shot rather than 3-shot Roach Zerglings. It's going to be massive. Oh, get wrecked! That Overlord gets busted. It's got to feel satisfied. Do you guys think killing an Overlord is like popping a right pimple? Ooh, another one goes down. I like this Overlord sniping squad from Solar. And he tries to surround some Roaches, but Ravager Morphs do keep those alive. But for how long? For how long? Oh, Shin went too far on the map. He's going to pay a big price. About 7 or 8 Roaches. I think 8 Roaches go down there just for a few Zerglings. Solar getting himself a super value discount meal. And Shin, you can't be affording that, mate. You're ahead on Roaches, but you're way down on Zerglings. +1's about to finish, though. It's an anti-timing, is it? Solar's getting in here 10 seconds before +1 range finishes. He's got to get the trade-off right now. Ling's coming in from the right side. And Shin +1 is almost there. Link counterattack at the same time on the other side of the map. Both players going for each other's third bases. On the left side, the Roaches eating a few biles for Shin. Shin cannot eat too many of these biles. His +1 range is kicked in. It's going to make his Roaches far more efficient. But the biles continue to land. Solar. Oh, he's just outnumbered though. Solar's outnumbered. His Roach Ravage is trying to retreat. On the other side of the map, his third base does take a lot of damage. It feels like Solar just doesn't quite have the numbers to keep up. Loses a Ravager to the bile, does Shin. Shin loses his third base, crazily enough. But of course, this is a massive commitment for Solar. The Lings AFKing in the main base for a moment. Drones turn to fight. Roaches are on top of them. And blocking those Zerglings was rather nice. Shin keeps taking economic damage. Third hatchery, 6 drones. But at the end of the day, there's only one thing that matters. You have +1 range, and you have 41 Roaches against 13. Those aren't close numbers, mate. The axe will come. The hammer will land. It will swing across to the other side of the map. And there's just no way you can defend that. Few Banelings trying to morph. Solar is desperately trying to buy time. I love the way Solar's made this game messy, giving himself chances to get back in it. It's just not enough. It's just not enough. Shin has got a mass of Roaches that are about to engage. He is about to roll over the top. A hurricane of Roaches. And of course, single Ravager in the back landing some biles as well. Solar's biles not able to land because he doesn't have the numbers. Can't really lock Shin in place. Ah, there we go. Finally does land a bile or two. But his front line's gone. His Ravager's mostly exposed. Actually, hold on. Hold on. His own +1 range is almost there. It's just not quite. Banelings coming forward. They all blow up on a queen. Not the best Baneling. It's Solar with some good micro. Dude, he's up 13 workers. If he can survive this, he'll be good. Not the best biles, though. You could tell he was rapid firing that. A little bit of a panic throw on those biles. Didn't land any of them. But if he survives and his army supply is ahead, no way. He might have actually done this, guys. The lack of a third base for Shin is such a problem. Shin now focuses the hatchery down, but he's down 14 workers. Even without a third hatchery, Solar is ahead here. Wow. And Solar with the chaotic Ling run-bys actually defends the counterattack. I can't believe it. I thought he was just too far behind, but slow Roaches take a long time to cross. Whispers of gold. And Solar fights back from behind. GG, well played. All right, guys, we got Shin in the bottom left side of the map. Solar in the top right. And honestly, great comeback for Solar. That was scrappy. I thought he was way behind for way too long, but let's be real, Shin did make a few mistakes, right? His third base, letting the Queen 6 drones die to the Zerglings in the first fight when he was miles ahead, right? In that first fight, he could have just held on. But he lost the 6 drones, the Queen, then the Lings just kept flooding in from different sides and getting the third hatchery, getting so many more drones. And even though he had the Baneling tech and the +1 range and the Roach tech, it just took too long for Shin to come across the map, and Solar resurrected himself in excellent fashion. So really impressive there for Solar. Okay, so this is looking interesting. Looks like pretty standard hatch gas pool openings, but notice that Shin is macro focused. We know that because he didn't pull off minerals onto gas. So he's going to be a little behind on the gas. Now you might think, 8 gas, does that really matter? But it's just 5 seconds faster Ling speed. It means, you know, Solar has more aggressive potential, because if you're both on the map with early Zerglings, your Ling speed kicks in 5 seconds faster. You can often kill a whole bunch of their Zerglings before their Ling speed kicks in. Sounds small, but it does make a difference. So we know that Shin's being defensive. Solar could still be defensive off this opening, but he has more aggressive options off of it. And Ling speed starts for both sides. 2 workers left on gas for Shin, 2 workers left on gas for Solar. If you pull 2 workers off gas for more than a few seconds, you can't afford your Baneling Nest on time. By the way, guys, do you guys see a Lance here? This looks like a Lance, right? This is the point. That's the handle. It's got a cool rune on it. It's infested. It's got some demon rune magic. I don't know what this is. A boomerang? That's a demonic boomerang, I guess, on the right side. It's not quite boomerang shape, but kind of. I don't know. Some boomerang type weapon. Doesn't actually, maybe not quite like a. Oh no, yeah. It's a not so aerodynamic boomerang. You guys ever throw a boomerang? I got to throw one a bunch of times once. Never twisted or came back at all. It just went, didn't even go in a straight line, probably, but it definitely did. I never got it to turn, man. Probably need to actually develop some skill and talent to do that. Probably put some effort in. Big Ling Bane pressure for Shin. Defensive play for Solar. Pig, your analysis was completely wrong. Shin's like, yeah, I don't care if my precious 5 seconds later, because he's got to wait for the lava injects anyway, I guess. The Ling's flooding out. He would like to make Banelings on the front, but Solar's tracking him, making sure there's no sneaky Banelings. You can see, yeah, Shin is like just waiting till his Lings are there. He goes for the Banelings on the front. Solar's already got his own defensive Banelings. Roach runs on the way behind this for Solar. Solar does not know what's coming as the next step, so he's got to be safe. First Baneling does not detonate very well. Now Solar, like many pros, doesn't control group his Banelings separately from his Zerglings, which is kind of nice sometimes when the game's really scrappy and you don't really have time to do that. But it does mean sometimes in a situation like this, those first two Banelings have not had good detonation, so I would say it gives him less room for error. It makes it more demanding on his skill and his execution, his manual clicking and boxing things to make sure it works. Ooh, another Baneling just went down, guys. Units lost tab. Looking pretty decent. It's even on both sides. 5 Roaches building for Solar. That feels like the Raynor move. So the move that Raynor popularized back when he was beating Serral all the time is he would always move out with 5 Roaches at this time, move into the middle of the map, show a big attack, and he's actually just droning behind it. And that's exact. And Solar, every single time Serral saw this, he would take the bait. Cancel his lair, cancel his +1, make 2 spine crawlers, and then Raynor would get to the other side of the map, and then he'd just turn around and walk home with his Roaches. And that's exactly what Solar's doing. Solar's going to get to the other side of the map and look at his Roaches, and they just turn around. They just turn. He's like, nah, 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 nah. You could have been making upgrades or lair that whole time and droning, but you weren't. That being said, Shin was already so far ahead on workers that even at the end of that, it's still even on workers. Lings are hidden on the left side. He's hoping that Solar's hoping that Shin might forget about those. More Roaches building. So now Solar's building for the actual Roach Bane attack, guys. He's transferred a few workers off his natural. Only 12 workers there, guys. So this Ling is going to see fake drones on this third. Now that makes you think your opponent's on like 48 workers, right? But we know Solar's only on 41. He sees a lot of Roaches though. He sees a ton of Roaches, so it might not matter. Overlord's building, we should see nothing but Roaches. As soon as Shin can, he should be building Roaches. Ooh, isn't that the name of like the high-speed train in Japan, guys? The Shinkansen? Dude, we gotta make some bad puns about trains. There's gonna be like so few people that get it, but that just makes me want to do it even more. I don't know if you guys have this urge. Sometimes like the more niche a reference, the more I want to make it, you know? I'm like 3 dudes will get this. All right, Roach Ravager's Zergling moving forward as well. Ling's gonna run in on that right side. Baneling not quite in position, but plenty of Zerglings are there to block it. Solar is committing. Once again, it's Ravagers, it's Lings, it's Bane. Spinecrawler's trying to build. Shin is up 11 workers. He's on 23 Roaches against 24, 25. I think he should be able to hold. The problem is he doesn't have Banelings, so the Zerglings are going to be very hard for him to get through with no +1 range. He's got, oh, sorry, he does have 2 Banelings. 2 Banelings. Oh, those Banelings could come forward. You don't want them to blow up too early, though, because there's actually not that many Zerglings yet. Biles not able to land. Good dodges by Shin. Solar very committed. Biles spreading across the front. Nice Biles. Lands a few juicies and his Banelings get the drones. But the Spinecrawler on the right side helping out. Remember, guys, the Hentacle action is incredibly powerful. 30 damage versus these Armored Roaches. 25 versus the Zerglings or the Ravagers. It does go down on the right side, though. The Spinecrawler behind the wall. Probably going to have to move out here. Drones are pulled off the line. Biles landing across in a spread. Shin dodging some of them, but not quite enough. Solar. Guys, keep in mind, you might be thinking, what is this just super aggressive play? Solar ruined Zerg vs. Zerg. Remember when Zerg vs. Zerg was Mutas? It's careful. People, oh, I'm going to do a Nidus. I'm going to do Mutas. I'm going to do Roaches. Lurker, Viper games. There's a lot of different styles. And Solar is the guy who ruined it when he beat Serral twice in 2023 in super one-sided all-in fashion. Solar basically showed us that there are so many variations of Ravagerling and Roach Bane timing you can do, and that they're insanely hard to stop individually, but because there's so many, you never know which one's coming. And now all the top-level ZvZ is like, whose Roach Baneling attack is going to win out? And occasionally, both players' Roach Baneling attacks bounce off each other, and then someone, you know, and then it ends up in a Lair Tech Roach war. But no one's ever getting to Mutalisks, like, right? It almost never happens anymore. And Solar is so good with these attacks. He's the problem. He's the man who showed us just how powerful these styles are and how no one really feels like they can consistently defend them. So, well, If you can't beat him, join him. And that's exactly what's happened. Now, SHIN was trying to macro up in this case, but he finds himself a bit on the back foot. He's losing so many overlords. He needs to get these overlords moving, man. If they're not already on the move, it's almost impossible to react in time. He doesn't have +1 range. He's literally just making Roach speed with no upgrades. Solar's pretty all in, so Roach speed will help out a lot, and it's going to kick in right now. Lings come in from the right side. Nice spread here. The Roach is there for SHIN. Spinecrawler in the back does help against the Zerglings. Got to keep dodging those biles, but he eats a few big juicies. That being said, the Roach is able to micro a little bit nicer here. SHIN, I mean, Roach speed helps out. Another big bile. SHIN, you got to stop eating those biles. Remember, we're playing on the US West server because we are playing on the PTR to find those bugs, to make sure there aren't any mistakes before the patch goes live. That does mean that these two Korean players are playing with a little bit of ping in this one. SHIN eating more biles than he'd like to, guys. Is there a creature out there that eats biles in nature, guys? If someone could Google that for me, look that one up, please. SHIN is definitely not looking like a Shinkansen in this game, guys. He's kind of limping along right now. He's like a Sydney train right now. This is like the Australian rail network. You're like, yeah, technically it works. It's not the worst thing in the world. This is definitely not one of those 400 kilometers an hour Japanese trains where you get your little bento box at the train station and you eat it on it with your Wi-Fi and you have the best time of your life. You know, this is not that. This is an intercity Sydney train. It was built 45 years ago. It doesn't run that well anymore, and it goes at like 100 k's an hour. It's not very fast. Nice Contaminate does go down. Overlord speed, +1 range, and Roach speed on the way. Guys, remember how I said you never make it to mutas anymore? SHIN is making it to Mutalisks. Problem, he still doesn't have an evolution chamber. So, unless these Mutalisks find game-ending damage, which they're not because the Overseer spotted it, I mean, he's just going to add a Hydras. He's going to have upgrades as Solar. SHIN doesn't really have a play. Because he doesn't have any upgrades coming in, normally with this sort of Surprise Spire, you'd build like 6 or 7 Mutalisks, get map control, deny Overlords, pick off a few Ravagers if you can, and then you'd, you know, swap back into Roach play. But his upgrades are so far behind. He starts the Evo now. It's just so late, and that's the pressure that Solar's been applying to him. Connecting with my Canadian viewers through Train Talk. This is why I have so many German fans, guys. I don't know if you guys remember TLO. TLO is one of the most creative pro gamers of all time. He used to, every event, he'd just like post on social media pictures of his trains that he'd be getting to each event. Like he's like, oh yes, look at the efficiency of this train. Low carbon emissions. Oh, costs less. Doesn't take as long as getting in the security line at the airport. It always runs on time if it's in Germany. And you're like, I'm like, this is unreasonably excited. Like, I also like Deutsche Bahn. I've heard it's been not as good the last few years, but still, tweeting pictures of trains every single time. I'm like, this is over the top, man. Mutas coming forward. I didn't realize Canadians got excited about trains. I thought you guys were super American. I thought you guys didn't believe in public transport. You're like, that's for poor people. Spits on the ground, starts shouting about peasants, you know? Like, Mutalisks up here. Dude, I don't know, man. I feel like, is that Lairtech Lurkers? Solar's going to do a Lairtech Roach Hydra Lurker push. He might just push now. He might not even wait. I mean, biles are the one thing standing between SHIN and defeat. He needs to basically just spray biles in front of Solar's line and try to maybe break him. Accidentally attacks his own hatchery there for a bit. Solar's just been so active, right? Ling run bys down there. Infestation Pit on the way. And SHIN's just like maxed on Roach Ravager, 60 drones. He's got some mutas out for air control, but he doesn't have much else going for him. Takes out a drone, sacrificing a Mutalisk for a couple of drones. It's okay to lose one. You don't want to dip below 5. If you get below 5 Mutalisks, you won't one-shot drones anymore, and that's where it gets painful. Oh, Muta's taking damage. Roach is going down as well. Hydra's going down. Muta's going to be pulling back to that side. The Lings are still ready. The base does have a spine down there, but it feels like there's no longevity. Like, SHIN has to go and find damage now, but the Lairtech Lurkers, he does have Overseers. They're just not... Yeah, there we go. Okay, Overlord speed kicks in. He does take out the Lurkers, but he took a lot of damage. Snipes a hatchery, gets away. Good move. These Ravagers can only bile once every 7 or 8 seconds, guys. He's got to get out of here. He's got to be careful. Almost ate that one as well. Bile spreading across the front line. Oh, not quite able to get that Lurker. Close, not quite. Shin making 20 more roaches right now. He cannot let this army bleed out too much, or the counter push will be very scary. This base is up, unable to get the rich gas just yet. There we go. The minerals are now there, which means he can take that rich gas if he wants to. Mutalisks being a nuisance. Hydras do push those away. If Solar can take that rich gas, it'll really help him out, guys. He's got a hive. He's rebuilding his third hatchery. And I mean, Shin found value, a little bit of it, but he's going to need more. And one has to feel like running 5 roaches in behind the third mineral line would be amazing right now. He's going to go with the Mutalisks. That can work. Oh, don't fly. He's going to go for the Lurker. Sacrifices 2 Mutalisks for a Lurker. Probably worth it. I think he's decided Mutalisks aren't the play anymore. Spore Crawler gets one shot. Overseers are here. Nice position. Dude, the Biles. The Biles looking absolutely delicious. Beautiful Biles there. And Solar splits his army. He's like, dude, I can't go through that choke point. He's going to lose another hatchery. Is Shin going to fight back? This is a really good ZvZ series. I was talking smack about ZvZ not being fun anymore and Solar being the reason. This is actually really dynamic play and so back and forth between these two. Kills a few hatcheries, but his army versus army trades have been kind of rough. Down 1,000 resources or 600 in the units lost is Shin, but he's up in supply. He has a 4th base healthily mining. He can take a 5th base and just keep transferring his workers to new hatcheries, whereas Solar, like he's rebuilding the 4th. His 3rd's back up and mining now, but losing that 4th base was a very big problem. Lurker upgrades are coming in, though. Hive is very late for Shin. It's about 1/3 of the way complete. It's like the Zerglings ran in there. Spinecrawler did rip them apart. New queen building on this hatchery. That's interesting that Shin's building a queen. I'm not really sure why. Is he actually just wanting to bank up more lava just so he can quickly remax, I guess? Interesting. Rare to see a Zerg pay that much attention to their lava this late in the game. Oh, no politics, guys. I made a dumb joke about Canada and trains. Let's not talk about politics in the chat. Let's move that one on. Deep breaths. Nice Roach Ravager coming forward. Oh, the Biles on the Hydras are big, but he's got to get away from the Lurkers on the right side. Lurkers on the right side. Good pullback for Shin. And Solar's just getting bled out. The Ravager's actually paying off big time for Shin. Oh, he eats some big Biles. But it doesn't matter because that hatchery says bye-bye. And it gets taken down. Second Lurker upgrades on the way as well. Solar just getting bled dry. Just good mobility and everything. I didn't see. I just glanced at chat. I don't know if it was anything too bad. I just saw people talking about stuff. And I was like, oh, I know at this time of year, when it is right now, that there's been a few people who really want to bring their politics into me chat. And I've been very consistent about going, no, video games. And they go, burn my freedom of speech. Video games! They're like, but who are you going to vote? Video games! And you know who's video gaming fantastic right now? Shin. Shin is happy to embrace the base trade, I think. He's doing really well. Roach Ravager goes in. Don't get me wrong, Solar started the base trade, and with the Lurkers being so hard to engage, it could work out for him. Oh, those Lurkers burrowing on top, though. Shin's got to get out of here. Now, to be fair, I don't know if there's any way to actually win a base trade as Solar. Solar realizes he's just so far down on army supply. And we are going to go to game 4. Shin up 2-1. All right. Shin up 2-1 there. Nice play. The Mutalisks bringing it back. Dude, I was like, your upgrades are too far behind. But to be fair, Solar's upgrades were incredibly late as well. So even with the super late Evo chamber, the Mutas were a very useful tool to get back in it. Force some spores. Force Hydras, force Lurk attack, and I think Solar just got a bit too spread out. I think he just had a few too many different things he was investing in. I think Lair Tech Lurkers was actually a mistake. I think if he just had more Roach Hydra fights with +2 against +1, just, you know, Roach Hydra Ravager timing, I think it's very hard for Shin to defend that. But Solar maybe played a bit too conservative, or maybe indecisive would be a way to say it. Now, guys, here we do have what appears to be a Reaper Grenade. Some reason on this map. Interesting little doodad. There's also a pile of gold coins for some reason, because every map has gold coins on it now, guys. The map makers found out that there's gold coins in the map editor, and now there's gold coins and piles of rings and like golden cups on every map. I don't know, man. Little chests with gold in them. I do like the windsock on this map. If you guys haven't seen it, up here on the top right of our screen. Very cool. I don't know if that was already in the base game or if someone added that in themselves. in the editor, but that's awesome. I love that graphic. Nice little details here on Snowpiercer. Snowpiercer, a medium rush distance map. It's got some really dangerous attacks. The gem is literally bigger than a Space Marine's helmet. Oh, I mean, it's ridiculously sized. It's cartoonish. The size of the gold is already silly, but then the ring gem is like so much bigger even than the coins. It's crazy. The lore of like there were some giants on these planets. I don't know. Zerglings interact in the middle of the map. It is link speed against link speed. Third hatchery on the way for both sides. Similar timings. 3 not on gas there. Nope, both players still on 2 on each gas. The question is now, guys, it's 2 minutes 50. If you want a safe Baneling nest, you need to build it right now. And it looks like Shin's a little bit more dangerously timed at 253, while Solar's was down at about 249, 250. So not too bad there. Solar does push back Shin's Overlord, but Shin's going to sneak back in on top of this, this little crane here. Is that a crane? And is it stuck on the map? I guess maybe it's meant to go into the ground? I don't know. Kind of looks like 2 different graphics that are splicing into each other, but could just be me. 10 Zerglings on the way for Shin. Solar's just building 4 more. So Solar's going to play defensive for now. Not a bad way to play. And of course, both sides going to try and deny each other scouting wherever possible. Roach Warren goes down. I mean, both players going Roach Warren. Solar does not hide his. His is in front. Shin's is hidden behind the wall off a little bit. Zergling Scout goes down. Another one's going to try to run in. Let's see if Shin can get in. He sees the Roach Warren. Sees a second gas. All signs of macro here. Question is, what's Solar scouting like, guys? Solar, he sees a few lings coming out, but no, they're going back. It's just a single Zergling Scout. And let's see how well Shin can deny scouting. I mean, both players are droning, but Solar's been a little greedier. Feels like Shin was maybe entertaining the idea of being aggressive for a little longer, but he's changed that mind now, going +1 range. Third gas for him goes up, and he should just be holding that drone key down. Lair on the way, and 6 more drones for Solar. Now, notice both players had a pretty big supply gap. What do you mean by supply gap? I mean a gap between their current supply and their max supply. Both players did that consciously. This is a conscious decision. You'll hear me talk about this on my own stream when I'm playing a little bit. If you're not sure if your opponent's going to all in or not, and you want to be reactive, you should always build a few extra Overlords. And that's because with the way Zerg production is very explosive, once you see an attack move out that you need to react to, if you are stuck even close to a supply block, not necessarily blocked, but in a position where you need to build Overlords, it just limits your ability to quickly respond to an attack, right? Whereas if you already have just a couple of Overlords pre-built ahead of time, you can either just go full drones if you feel safe, or full army. And it gives you that flexibility to adapt to the circumstance. It costs you a little bit of efficiency because you are building those Overlords ahead of time, but it allows you to be more reactive. So I love that choice for both sides. Oh, no lair? No lair! Shin's going 3 gas, just +1 Roach all in. And Solar's playing perfectly because he's gone lair, but he's just going to go Roach speed +1 off 53 drones. I don't think he even realizes what's happening. But he doesn't need to, because as long as he doesn't build any drones, Solar should have the perfect build to just barely defend this. I think. Oh, he's going for a Nidus worm. He doesn't realize, dude, you're being attacked right now. He's already thinking this is a fake out or something. This is a counter. Cancel that Nidus, man. Make as many roaches as you can. This is a bad call. He's making an Overseer and a Nidus. He doesn't have enough gas to make roaches. He's got 7 lava and a bit of minerals floating. Solar needs to build a few more roaches here. He should be able to hold this off. He's only up 7 workers, but investing in a lair, an Overseer, and the Roach speed, and the Nidus worm. It's a big investment. Nidus worm just got cancelled. Baneling's coming forward with a bit of a spready. The Lings and the Roaches, the Banelings and the Roaches, they're defending for Solar. Solar does take a few nasty Baneling hits, but he actually gets a few of his own in the middle of the enemy Roaches. Remember, Banes are there to counter Zerglings, but if they land in the middle of the Roaches, they do okay. I would have loved to see him keep a Baneling alive. He's got only 1 Baneling in reserve. That's the job of that Baneling, is to deal with these Zerglings as they filter in. He lets the Baneling to the front. It doesn't matter. It was the perfect build choice for Solar. Solar didn't know what he was playing against, but he decided 53 drone, +1 Roach all in with a Nidus to reinforce. That's the strategy. It can beat Mutalisks. It could be a Roach player if he goes too greedy, 66 drones. And as it turns out, it'll defend a 45 drone Hatchery Tech +1 Roachling all in as well. All right, guys. Shin in the bottom left side of the map and Solar in the top right. We're going to decide everything on Princess Amidala. Amygdala. Sorry, guys. We're going to confuse you and slowly get the wrong pronunciation in everyone's brain, and then I'm going to regret it. Hatch gas pool for Solar. Shin as well. Shin seems to be slightly ahead on the build. Could just be explained maybe by the fact that his workers started off closer to the minerals because he's bottom spawn. See, these workers have to travel a little bit further to get to the minerals. Thank you very much, Contempt and Analysis, for the subs. Really appreciate it, guys. Game 5 decided, though, it's been a very action-packed series. What I love about this map, guys, is if there's ever a map to play Mutalisks, this is it. Because remember, the middle of the map, you can't get through. You're blocked. Those rocks block. Rocks block here. Rocks block here. The entire middle of the map is blocked off by rocks, so you have to go around the outside. And you know, when two trailer park Zergs go around the outside, not only does Slim Shady get excited, but Pig does as well, because it means you can't kill your opponent with quick Roach Bane as easily, which is it's just a whole thing. It's pronounced Princess Amidala? Oh, okay, sorry guys. I'll say it properly next. It's a medical term, pronounced Amidala. Okay, Amidala. That's how, okay, I got it just right, guys. No worries. Yeah. Just remember, the more of you that post that, the more I will repeat this. You guys realize I have being an idiot and trolling people who all correct me built into... It's baked... I don't even have a choice. It's baked into my personality. It's part of being obnoxious. Yeah, I would love to see Mutalisks. I'm not sure how to get there. I did manage to get to Mutas against Shin the other week. Like a month ago. We had a really good game on Golden Aura, but... I don't know, man. I feel like these guys are probably just going to stick to what they know. As much as I'm like, hey, Mutalisks would be great here, I don't think either player has enough experience with Mutalisks recently. Even though it's good on this map, I doubt they do it. Ooh, maybe get a Zergling kill. Solar chasing him back. Baneley Nest on the way for Shin. Solar does not have a Baneley Nest. Solar's going Evo Chamber, my friends. Guys, what is this greed from Solar? He's just droning and building an evolution. This is Solar being like, hey, I'm just going to roll the greed dice and see if I get lucky. He's only built 7 Zerglings and he's just rushing Carib. It's so greedy. I guess he built a 3rd queen. That's his one bit of safety. The one bit of safety that Solar did was building that third queen. If there was a Bigling Bane pressure, though, that 3rd base is toast. Damn, dude. He's lucky. Shin's playing defensive, man. I would be tilted if I watched this replay as Shin. I'd be like, what? You're just going to build 7 Zerglings, drone up like crazy, and just make a fast upgrade? That's insane. To be fair, Shin does have a worker advantage. He's got his own Evo Chamber in the way, in the back. Are you saying the map name wrong? All of the vowels are silent? Did I say it right? I think I did. Alright. Oh, is Solar committing hard? He's already building roaches. 2 gas. Looks like a Ravager Ling Carapace all in, guys. It's a good way to kill a player trying to get to Mutalisks. And if your opponent just delays building roaches too long, it can wreck him. Shin is supply blocked right now. He did lose an Overlord. He lost an Overlord to the Queens. And that also means his vision's not as complete as it maybe could be. The roaches are still hiding. This is Solar trying to distract him right now. Make sure he's not scouting. But these roaches are about to move out. And Shin is droning a little bit. He needs to stop droning and start making roaches. He's got 4 on the way, +1 range. If you see more drones in that production tab and you're a Shin fan, get your handkerchief ready because you're going to be crying. You're going to be crying later tonight. More roaches. He's putting more roaches. He's doing the right thing. Shin seems to realize that there is a threat of this. That fast carapace is going to be hard to deal with, guys. See some roaches out there. Still no sign of just how all in Solar is. Look at this, guys. 2 mineral lines, 2 gases, only 2 workers on one of the gases. Missing a guy on minerals on one of those bases. It's 37 drones. It's so low economy. The Lings just cannot scout. And Shin continues to build roaches. But no! He second guesses himself. He starts building drones. The roaches are coming, guys. But wait, what is this? What's that? Why is he moving out with only some of his roaches? Oh, no, he's got more units at home. Okay, he's moving out. He's moving out down both sides. Both sides at once. This is I don't know if he did this on purpose or not. I don't know if he just clicked his units. Okay, here we go. Mass Roach Ling all in. It's 46 drones against 37. Ling's going to try to run in. Shin needs to split that army. Spread him. Spread him well, mate. Spread it like it's hot. Oh my lord. Ling's unable to get in on the top left side. There is a skirmish going on up there. The Ling Roach will manage to defend for a little bit. Meanwhile, Roachling coming in. Drones getting surrounded in the mineral line. The Carapace upgrade is there. It's going to help these Lings massively. But the Lings don't have great surface area. They should try to get a better angle. Big Roach count for SHIN. SHIN, we knew he was backed by Big Roach, guys. Big Roach have been lobbying for SHIN to become a world champion for a long time. They're the reason he beat Cyril in Katowice. They're a reason why Oliveira, it's all about Big Roach, man. And let's be real, we've seen more Roaches in the last few years than we had in the previous few years. SHIN's Roach defense was fantastic. Oh, we did chase a bit too far with those. I mean, look at the units lost tab. He traded positively. He didn't lose much at all. I think it's just Solar picked the wrong build for this map. A slow Roach push on the longest rush distance in the map pool. Remember I said this is a good map for Mutalisks because they're not going to be able to kill you with their silly Roach Banes on this map. Well, yeah, neither player really played to the map, but you can argue SHIN did more so by playing a macro-centric defensive and reactive build. People think of SHIN as a timing attack guy. He just does all-ins. He plans his builds out. He reacted to everything in this game. And even when he didn't know exactly what was happening, he was like, oh, let's squeeze a few more drones out. It was not too greedy. He holds on, he defends. He's going to take his own gold base. And that should put him in a really good spot. Now, unfortunately for him, he doesn't have a lot of gas. He's been redrawn. He does need to make Roach speed. I have a feeling he's forgotten. Oh, there we go. He does make it. Okay, Spire and Roach speed at the same time. Solar, thinking about taking the 4th base on the gold as well to try to catch up. He's finally catching up on drones. And even though he's behind on upgrades, not by much, right? Because well, he's actually ahead on upgrades right now. If he starts his +2 straight away, it's only about 20 seconds behind. So if Solar can squeeze a +2 in, that's going to be massive. Queen's going to deal with the Overseer as well. Spire goes down for Solar. Also, we might have a Corruptor versus Mutalisk battle. Overseer goes down. Where's the Spire? Behind the natural. Nice move there. So, yeah, Solar might play Roach Corruptor. Neither side knows about the other one's Spire just yet. Zergling splitting into the bases, some in the natural, some in the main. I'd say going Spire against Spire is pretty bad for Solar. Solar's already behind in this game, and he's going into even more of a mirror matchup. I think the idea behind his Spire is he wanted to create asymmetry in this game. He wanted Mutalisks to force a big response, pick off Overlords, counterattack, harass, force Spore Crawlers, force Hydras, and really complicate the game for SHIN. But if you're going Mutalisks against the guy who's already got Mutalisks, you end up going even less of them. It can actually backfire really hard. Now, to be fair, Solar's macro is being great. You can see his worker count's equal. He's on the same base count. He's taking more gases. Problem, he's down 30 army supply and he's taking the gold. And this gold is something you can only defend if you have a dominant position, because otherwise he can just leave a Roach behind the mineral line. You don't get to mine off your 4th base. These gold bases on this map are incredibly dangerous to take. Mutas versus Mutas. To be fair, Solar's going to surprise him with more Mutalisks. Overseer sees it. Overseer sees it. SHIN sees it, and SHIN needs to make a decision. Does he double down on Mutalisks now? I think he does. They're both doubling down on Mutalisks. It's Mutalisk versus Mutalisk war. Roaches on the front. Mutas here getting some value for SHIN. SHIN has not sent his own Overlords back. Might be worth doing that. He's got to be careful. There's a lot of Mutalisks about to pop for Solar. Solar's also getting upgrades for those Mutalisks. SHIN has not started. SHIN needs to go Carapace. It's the better Mutalisk versus Mutalisk upgrade. You could argue attack so that you're better versus the Roaches, but I think armor is usually the more important upgrade. That being said, SHIN's saying, screw that. I just want more Mutalisks. I want to fight before the upgrades even kick in. He finally does start +1 air weapons now, but he's denying the gold base, and that's big. He's got 8 gases. Solar does not. He denies one of the gases as well. So not only denying the minerals, but denying one of the gases completely, and that's massive because it's all about that gas income. You can make 10 mutas a minute, I can make 13, right? It's those little differences that will add up. Right now, SHIN is already slightly out on the Mutalisks. Roaches getting picked off by the mutas of Solar. Ling run by for Solar, gets in, but it's only a few Zerglings. It's not going to do anything. It's actually the Roaches in the north of the map that could be more effective. SHIN does end up losing quite a few Roaches here. The Mutalisks of Solar being expertly used to find whatever value he can. Solar is down in the workers, but he's ahead in the army supply, or about even. Solar is in a hard spot right now. He's back to 8 gases. He's going to try and defend in the Mutalisk war. He's actually ahead of single Mutalisk right now. That's big. SHIN needs to throw some Roaches away. He needs to trade right now to use his money advantage. Solar actually has more Mutalisks than him. Good micro on both sides, stacking the Mutalisks so your opponent can't really target fire very effectively. Once you start with a low muta count, target firing up to about 20 mutas is more effective. Past 20 mutas, it becomes counterproductive because you overkill too much. Big Roachling fight in the north, 1/1 upgrades for Solar. So his Roaches are actually trading a little bit better there, which is very, very nice. Not to mention his Roaches are much better at absorbing Mutalisk shots if they are involved in those battles. Now, one way you can turn a Mutalisk fight in your favor is if you hold position ground units underneath the Mutalisks. The way Mutalisk bounce works is it always bounces to the closest target, like the closest other enemy unit to the thing that got hit. So if you've got ground units underneath, they're always going to be the closest unit. So you can hold position Lings or Roaches under your Mutas. They'll absorb all the balance damage, allowing your Mutalisks to be doing more Muta versus Muta damage, and that can snowball things. But right now, Shin's got more Mutalisks. Both have +1 attack. +1 carapaces on the way for both sides. The Muta's willing to fight. Shin has way more money in the bank. So if he can have even an even fight, it's going to be good for him. Even an even fight. Not my best word smithing there, but hopefully you get the message. The Muta's overwhelming. I think Shin's able to just dominate this fight. Yeah, he was able to just jump on top decisively. Solar was down just slightly in the Mutas after losing a few early in the battle. And even though the Roaches seem like they're winning, you kill every single Mutalisk, and what can the Roaches really do on the ground for Solar? In this scenario, you kind of want to pivot. You want to go Infestors, Hydras, Lurkers, Vipers, anything that's not just Mutalisks, because you're too far behind now as Solar to make those work. He's kind of swapping a Corrupt is going to be his answer, because he knows he can't afford all those things that I mentioned. It's a hard spot to be in. And Shin's Muta's happy to trade. The Queen's coming in, helping out a fair bit, but it's just too many Mutalisks, man. It's just too many. Solar can't hang on. And what an exciting action-packed 5-game series. Solar is a master of timing attacks in this matchup, and it's kind of funny. I feel like Shin's normally the guy doing cheeky BS to his opponents, but Solar, it seemed like, did that even more than him. In hindsight, the Carapace Ravager Ling build, I don't think this was a good map for it. It's a really long rush distance. If there's ever a map where you want to be playing Mutalisks or Roach macro games, get your 3 bases up and defend it, Amygdala is absolutely that. Now, I actually meant to say it properly that time. Amygdala is actually a really good map for it. Just, it's a big rush distance. Taking those rocks down is going to take way too long for any early push, so they don't really come into play till later on. GG, well played. And Shin, our champion of Pigstarcraft number 5.